Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Gold Silver Report for Monday, September the 27th, and looking at gold on this 2-day chart here. And we were looking at this in a couple of different ways. We're looking at it in a triangle pattern with the A, B, C, D and E here, and we'll still keep that. The other one was the irregular flat correction, where we were looking at wave 4 being over here. And this is wave 1 and coming back for wave 2. But this ABC here has become a bit complicated, so it's likely not to be wave 2. So we can take away the irregular flat and we'll work with the triangle pattern. There is still the case that the market can come down further as well in more of a bearish pattern. And we'll look at that when we have a look at GDX or ABX or something or other. So now the move that come down through here, we had it coming down in a nice 3 waves, but it's just gotten a little bit well, more complicated, so that chucks a bit of a spanner in the works for all of this. So I still think that we're in the triangle pattern. Okay, so last time we spoke, we had wave A over here and wave B over here and wave C over here with wave B here, and we were looking for 5 waves to the upside here. That's where we were, but then we've got this extra low in here now, so we need to readdress the situation. We know that the move down based on this extra low here is gone into a larger corrective pattern, which is okay for a wave B. They get kind of complicated. What I don't know is, I can count this up here as an ABC, and I'll show you that. The move down through here, we've either got it down as wave A here. We go back a little bit closer to the supply zone here, which is the lower end of group 2, the 1765, and we would look at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up there. So we'll look for 5 waves up to here. So we could actually get another C wave down here before finishing, and what that would do is that the A wave would be in 3 waves, the B wave in 3, and then an ABC here for the B wave here, and then push up. I don't think we'll go too much lower, maybe 1720 or something of that nature for this particular pattern. So just on the tick chart here and just readdressing some of this. The first thing is that if we're going to call this here an A, B and C down for the A wave and a B wave here and then down from that point, which I'll need to talk about that in a moment, but I just want to address this situation here. So I've come back over this and I can see that we can count this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the A wave. And A and, well, that can just really go in there, can it? Maybe I'll have to check on that, but it'll still leave wave 1 here, ABC for 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 for the 3rd wave, and then the 4th wave across here, either to here or to here, to give us that 5th wave there. So that's how I've got the B wave in play there anyway, so just so you know that. I'm working with 100 ticks. And then we've got the move down here, so I've looked at this as all of this is wave 1 here, back for wave 2. It would be nice, and I kind of thought we could push this into here like this to get that low in play there, but it just doesn't cut it quite well. In fact, we're probably better off putting wave C over here because it appears to be in 5 waves here, but I'm a little bit unsure about that. So we've either got, let's just grab this here for a moment. So there's 2 things that could go out here. We could have a low in place here. As you can see here, we've got the first impulse wave, and then we've got this second one here. So we're likely to push up a bit further and have a 4th and 5th. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that could be the top of it at that point, and then we would have 5 waves down at that point coming into 1720 sort of area here. Okay. that would be the other side of the coin here. I don't know exactly how that's going to play out. I'm just assuming that we've got a 3, well, folks would probably would put it as a WXY, but I'll just stay with a larger A, B, and then this C wave here, either in 5 waves here, or we'll be forced to push it into 3 waves. So I'm not quite sure, but yeah, how that sort of ends there. But in a nutshell, when we look at on the 2-day chart here, we've still got a bit of space to work with, because with this move down through here, it hasn't really breached the 61.8%, and even if it breached, it would just go down to the 78.6 at that point, which is obviously a bit lower, which takes us into the 1700 sort of area at that point. But we know that there's buying down at that point. So my conclusion is that we are still in wave B. It's just the B wave has got a bit more complicated. If it was a wave 2, it would have been just simple. It would have been a 5-3-5 structure, all done and dusted, and we'd have known where we are and all that. But because of the extra move in here, and we may even get another extra move, as I mentioned, which would be a little move up here and then another move down before we get to the end of the B wave. So that's what I'm thinking. We'll see how that goes. I know silver has a slightly bearish count, as we've noted before. Okay, it looks a bit sort of more bullish now. It's gone up too much. So we were looking, let's just go back over it. We were looking from wave 4 up here, looking down for 5 waves for wave 1. That seems to be okay. And ABC here for wave 2, then 1 and 2 over here, and 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave. We're looking for the 4th wave. And then we're looking for this to come down. And it's coming down, but this wave 4 here is obviously pushed too high and overlapping wave 1. So that's out of the race here now for that. So we've got something a little bit more complicated. So that means that wave 4 will probably go over here, and that will need to go there. And those 5 waves we're going to be seeing going up in gold will be reflected over here for this. So we'll need to move that across, move this across. In fact, we won't need those for a while, just get rid of those. So this will see 5 waves up here, probably in line with gold, and then we'll see this come down, making a new low, then one more ABC pattern here. So this is what we could be experiencing with gold as well, but in a slightly different variation, but the sort of same timing in a way. Where are we? 5 of 3 and 5 here, so down to 2100, maybe even lower at that point. We'll see, but that's the pattern that we've been working, and I can see that we could look at this in a B wave here. So yeah, we'll just have to do that, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously if we get a nice tested support on top of group 1 here, the $23 mark, then we'll look at going long at that point. But otherwise I think that's kind of where we're at with this. So still a good couple of weeks for this to land properly from wave 4 to wave 5 here. Having a look at the sort of stock market side of gold, this is Barrick Gold here, and we have to remember that the ETFs have a large chunk of this in their portfolio, so they pretty much look the same. So this is a monthly chart here, as you can see up here, and I've gone over this before, and it haunts me a little bit. I can sort of get a corrective wave out of this as an ABC pattern. So we can see that this move down from the top here appears to be in 5 waves, and we've had a correction, so we're going to have another 5. So we could look at the situation from taking that low to that high and looking for a larger correction in that space. So just let me get that there. So the 61.8% is not much lower, really. It's just in there for that. So what I was sort of thinking here is Well, we could look at this as wave 1 here and then back for wave 2 and then up for wave 1 and back for wave 2 and then going higher at that point. That's a possibility, but it just looks a little bit unusual, you know. The other way we could look at it, if we could put wave B there for a bullish move and a wave C there and look for wave A here. But the problem with that is that if we do take the top here and we take the low of wave C, like we've already... Hey, Minky, chill out, buddy. It's okay, mate. Now I'm going to have to show you a photo of my dog. He's always sort of sniffing around in the background, scratching here and there and doing certain things, but he's made himself quite apparent. So in this case, it's possible to come down here a bit further, like silver finishing off in a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at that, and I mean this little trend down here in a moment. So we could come back up here for a higher C wave up to the 78.6. So that's a possibility, having a bigger correction here. But you know, this move down from the top here, you know, that it appears to be in 5 waves. So you know, as I've mentioned before, this could come, you know, to me could come a lot lower. But I mean, obviously, you know, how does that work in an environment like economy that we're in at the moment, you know? This is just the weekly chart. I mean, also too, I just want to point out too that, which I have pointed out before, this move down from the top here, right? It looks like a nice 5 waves, doesn't it? You know, and that's the same that's on GDX. It's also the same pattern that's on US spot gold as well. So with US spot gold, if I can just come back a little bit, like, nobody could see it before. Well, not about nobody, but you know, I was harping on about it all the way through here, that this typically looks like 5 waves down. It's just that this little retracement here and this one here came a little bit high, but otherwise you could view this as 5 waves down and then an ABC here, and this is why we've got to be a little bit careful about the triangle pattern, because we could also drop lower here as well. So even though it doesn't look like 5 waves on this chart, on other markets we can see that it's got a nice 5 wave structure to the downside. How else would you count that, you know? And if we got 5 waves here after a correction we got here, then we'll get another 5 down here. So looking at this little move down through here, and this will be the same as GDX. GDL's holding up a bit better. Where's the daily chart for this? I mean, we have talked about this before, but it's, you know, there was just a bit of a backlash on it that it couldn't be true, Pete. So I'm at it again. So the 5 waves down would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So that's pretty clear to me. I mean, this looks like 5 waves here, but there was never 5 waves in that first move here, in this one here. That was the thing. And that was the same as Newcrest Mining and the other ones. I could never get 5 waves out of that move. So this being a corrective move here, and now we've clearly taken out the bottom here. So what does that all mean then, you know? So, you know, we have to start counting this, and this would be the same as Newcrest, GDX, all of that would be the same here. So we could look at this coming down. I'll just get these on the right page, so to speak. I'll just treat them the same as the other degree there. So this move down here as wave 1 and wave 2 here. Now, I grant you, it looks like a nice wave 3 here with a wave 4 here. So it's possible to put that wave 4 there, 3 there and 4 there. But the problem with that is that if this extends down longer than this one here, then we've got a problem there. So it's probably that wave 3 is down here and wave 4 and wave 5. And then we need to look at the next smaller degree in here, which would be 1 here, 2 here. I'll have to change this, just give me a second. Make that blue, degree, minute, 1 degree smaller. You know what I'll do? I just won't put them as minute, I'll just put them as micro. That will just be a little bit more visually pleasing. bit more acceptable. I don't know why they do that. Can't edit those things. That's it. So we've got wave 1 here, 2 here, and this is the third wave coming down here. We're not quite there yet, so a little bit more lower in there, and then there'll be a wave 4 here, and then there'll be a wave 5. That will be for wave 3, and that will be wave 4, and then that will be wave 5. So ABX, which is Barrick Gold, will be down at $20. That would be the buying op at that point. So this is an impulse wave, so I will be able to track this pretty easy, so we don't need to worry about it too much. Now Newcrest Mining will be the same, and if we go over to GDX, well, I've already got it in here. So in this case, I've looked at it as an A wave down, a B wave down, and a C wave down. So this would line up with sort of, well, dare I say it, US spot gold. But US spot gold, we're working a triangle pattern. It seems to be holding up off its lows, where these ones have broken their lows. But that's what we need to be careful about, you know, with gold, with US spot gold, that it doesn't break the lows, you know. So this down here is as wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 here and 2 here. I think I'll just change these to micro, just so it's too big and clumsy otherwise. Yeah, so you can kind of see where we're at here. So I mean, we're going to be vibrating at the $30 mark there for a little while, and then that's the medium level here, 40. So I'll just clone that and drop that down to 25. That's the next medium level. So GDX, $25. You know, just as a simple A wave, B wave and C wave for a larger B wave in play, and then a move up, because it's the same pattern as GDX. If I go to a month here, I don't know what I've got here, but so we're coming down here. So we've got all of that down here is the A wave, the B wave and the C wave to $25. But yeah, I'm not convinced, you know. I mean, I can still see 5 waves here and an ABC correction back up to the 61.8%. So to me, I mean, really, we should be way down here on all of this, and this would just be wave 1 and 2, and the 5 waves that we get here will just be wave 1 of the third wave. So there's a lot of work to be done here. But you know, how does one see gold so far down when they're printing so much money? It's kind of weird in a way, isn't it? You know, always probably have to, you know, those quotes, you know, if everybody's going long, will then be short, or whatever the case is, you know. Anyway, I've said this before and I'm saying it again, and we're just tracking it. So what else can you do? You know, all we can do is track this 5 waves down here. When it gets down to $25, we can say that's the low in place. Let's see what it does on the upside. Let's see if it gives us a corrective pattern, or let's see if it gives us impulse waves, you know. I kind of like the idea of it being an ABC to this point here. Like that. I kind of like that a little bit, because when I look at Newcrest, if I got it on this platform, just grab it on the other one then. Should be able to get it here. NCM. So the thing about NCM, we've got this nice history here of being sort of impulsive, which I won't go into at the moment. But then we've got this large corrective pattern here. You know, that's the high. So we can look at this as 5 waves down, right? And then we can look at this as the B wave here. And then we'll look at this as the C wave here. So in this case, there would be a case for going wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here, and then going down for wave 5, coming down in lower here. And this would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 coming into 20 here. So yeah, just taking the low out here, or this old low here, down at $20 for Newcrest would be. Newcrest Mining is probably this. I don't know if you know. It's probably the second biggest after Barrick, if you don't include any Chinese stocks. You know, because they're bigger as well. But yeah, so it's a Newcrest Mining. It's it's a big stock, and it's got the same pattern, as the ETFs and so on. So, but that's sort of where we are. Alrighty. Yeah, that's a whole other story, isn't it? So when we come back to gold, if the ETFs are going to drop lower, then, and this is going to hold up here, then you can kind of understand that we need to spend time here while ABX, Newcrest, GDX, all of those, continue their move down, So we could go sideways here, but I think that we'll still be in this triangle here, bubbling along the bottom at 1650, 1700 here. And yeah, in terms of time, let's just go back to that. Let's just go back here and check on this again. I'm not going to go to, I want to go to ABX. It just runs a bit truer. And we don't want that. Sorry. Just have a look at the days here. I just want to kind of get a bit of an idea of when we'll bottom, That will help us with the gold thing. So if that's wave 1, and that's wave 2, and this is wave 3 here, so we could say that that gap there, that would be wave 2, that would be wave 1 and 2, and then down for 3, 4 and 5 here for that. So that's the gap. So what that means that that's the halfway mark from that trend from the top here down to wave 5, wherever that may be. That's the halfway mark. So if we look at, there must be a tool for doing stuff on the side here. Is there price range, date range? Does that count bars? Fixed volume, date range. That's 81 days. So I'm thinking that if that's 81 days and that's the halfway mark, then we should be doing another 80 days before the low. Roughly speaking. So 80 days down to 20 or 18 or 19 or something down there for Barrick Gold. But if that's 80 days, then this will also be 80 days as well, roughly. And we could be down, bobbing on the 1650 to 1700 here. I'm just sort of thinking out loud, that's all. Okay, I'll just leave it with those thoughts. It was kind of interesting comparing the two of them, wasn't it, I think? I think it's good to do that. But yeah, that's sort of where we are. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.